Good morning, Villa fans, and welcome to a match reaction to Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1. Also, a match preview for the Crystal Palace game tomorrow night as well. So, a bit of a double dose for you. So, grab yourselves a cup of tea and let's enjoy and talk about this. There's not many moments that get me kind of knee sliding in the living room, but an 89th minute winner from this man here, Marco Asensio, certainly did that. Knee sliding on the carpet in the living room. Absolute scenes in the Gig Sharma household. What a moment. What a moment. It was a game that I said that we had to win. It was a game that, you know, it was looking like it was going to peter out and go for a draw, and whether that would leave us in a strong position. But now with the 3 points, we were up into 7th. I think we've since come down to 8th again after Newcastle winning, and who else won? Somebody else won as well, I think. So, but anyway, we're still in with a shout, basically, is what I'm saying. And really good performance tactically from Unai Emery in the end, especially in that second half, and introducing Rashford when he did. I felt as though that change was needed. But let's wind it back. Let's give it some sort of order and context. So, I mean, looking at the starting lineup, first of all, when it was announced, obviously Rashford on the bench, Asensio starting. We had Matty Cash back in at right back. Konsa came back in, which was good, alongside Mings. Martson was probably the surprise name at left back instead of Luca Digne. But, you know, you've got to be able to kind of rotate the players. And obviously, you know, we've had this game Saturday. We've got tomorrow against Palace. And then we've got Friday against Cardiff as well. So a lot of games in a short amount of time. There's going to be a bit of rotation. So Digne sat this one out. Martson came in at left back. McGinn and Tielemans as the anchor and the CDMs in midfield, because we have no one else, really. You know, there's no one. We're asking them to you know, go 90 minutes again and again. And it proved again in this game too. And then ahead of that, he started with Ramsey. He started with Asensio in the sort of 10, and then Rodgers from the kind of right, and then Watkins up front. So, yeah, I mean, playing Ramsey, Rodgers, and Asensio, it's very narrow. It's very congested in that midfield. And I felt as though that played into Chelsea's hands, really, in the way that they wanted to play. They obviously invert the fullbacks. You know, Cucurella comes inside and sort of adds an extra body into a sort of congested central area. Reece James was doing the same as well. And it really just, it didn't allow us to get any sort of fluidity going in that kind of first half, really. But credit to Unai Emery for realizing, you know, what needed to be done. And I think by using the Brighton example, Matoma and Minter, having two fast players that are running at defenders and provide width, and by introducing Rashford and the other man in your picture here, Bailey, on the left-hand side, was key to that. Getting them wide, getting chalk on the boots, getting the Chelsea defenders, you know, a bit more wider to engage with them, creating spaces, getting Rashford to be positive, Bailey to be positive. You know, that was the key to turning around this game. So, again, didn't start too well. Early on, sort of Chelsea, after 3 minutes of this game, I was looking at it thinking, we look tired. You know, McGinn and Tielemans, the gaps in midfield. They had Enzo Fernandez with the freedom of Villa Park, you know, picking out pockets of spaces. And I'm thinking, why isn't there a midfield player near him? But yeah, we soon addressed that, but not before going sort of 1-0 down. Pedro Neto had an early shot as well, which Mings slides and blocks. And then I think Neto was up against... well, Martin was playing on the left, but I think it was Ian Martin actually, who again didn't get close enough to Pedro Neto to stop the cross. Neto sort of, you know, sized him up and sort of outpaced him a little bit and managed to get a cross in, which I thought Emmy was going to get to be fair, but it kind of, you know, found its way to Enzo Fernandez, who seems to be our nemesis at the moment and seems to pop up with a goal against us every time we play him. And he was there to tap in from, a couple of yards out. And sort of 1-0 Chelsea after, I don't know what that was, sort of 10 minutes or so. But yeah, first shot on target again. Just Villa's like lack of concentration at the back. Who was picking up Enzo? He had another chance where he sort of, you know, put one just over the bar as well. So he was the one who was advancing from midfield. Cole Palmer was getting on the ball, but not making many forward runs as such. But Enzo was the one who was going sort of box to box, and having Nkunku and Neto pretty much wide but tucked in sometimes. Not having a focal point up front, because Nicholas Jackson would have been their sort of number 9. I thought Nkunku would play there, but he didn't. He played really from the left. It kind of gave Konsa and Mings, who do we pick up? And it's all about picking up runners. And, that's a difficult thing for centre-backs to do, is not knowing who you're picking up, and having to look around and see who are the runners. And that's where Enzo came in, and Neto got in some good breaks. But first 15 minutes, I thought we were slow out of the blocks. I think after 15 minutes, we kind of got a little bit of a grip on the game. McGinn was starting to, get more kind of stuck in and more into it. Tielemans was there as well. It just took a little bit of time for us to get the opportunities. Asensio, sprung away from the halfway line and was, bearing down on goal. Ramsey to his left, Watkins to his right, slides in Ollie Watkins. Watkins' first touch, questionable, takes him too close to the keeper or too wide, and then he tries to get a shot away, and the keeper kind of makes a save with his legs. That was a chance for Watkins there. But yeah, I just felt the width was key to this game. So, and then Asensio does get the first goal. I'm trying to just remember it now, actually, as well. Bear with me a second, but no, he's he's done really, really well in the game. So early in the second half, we obviously made the change with Rashford coming on, Ramsey coming off, which was key. Rashford, I've said this already, he gives you the fear factor. The name of his name on the team sheet is just fear factor. Opposition defenders back off him. Don't want him running at you. And that's what we need. We need a player like Marcus Rashford. If we can get him on a permanent basis somehow, some way, then that would be absolutely perfect. But he just brings the fear factor. And, he's out wide. He's prepared to take on his man all the time. He feels confident. He's like, yep, I'm going to take him on. No problem. Leon Bailey on the other side, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get from him. But you get the feeling with Rashford that every time he gets the ball, he's going to take on his man. He's going to beat him. He's got this lovely ability, actually, of going both ways. Like, he's probably stronger on his right foot, sort of cutting in and getting that shot off. But my goodness, is he good on his left foot as well? He doesn't mind sort of going sort of inside or outside. And he did it in the last game as well against Liverpool. Was it Liverpool or was it Tottenham, I think, where he skinned Pedro Porro? He skinned Pedro Porro by sort of, coming inside and then chopping back on the outside with his left and getting a lovely cross in the box. And he did a similar thing here as well, where he's not afraid to go at the fullback and go with his left foot as well if he needs to. So, yeah, really, really good performance in the second half. I think we stepped it up. I think Chelsea, did know how to counter, the width that we brought on with Rashford and then Bailey coming on soon after as well. And yeah, obviously, we've got to talk about the Tyrone Mings situation a little bit as well. I've always felt like, it's a very, very big injury to come back from, the ACL one. Very big, and very few come back from it the same player. And Mings is obviously that big, tall, dominant sort of centre back. He is athletic. He's, by doing your ACL, losing all that muscle and having to rebuild it, you are going to have some problems with sort of your mobility, be able to turn, be able to jump, challenges, impact injuries, impact challenges. All of these sort of things really, really do have a massive effect on the injury that he has. So I always felt it was going to be using Tyrone Mings sparingly. We've had to sort of thrust him back in because obviously Pau Torres is out. And we've had injuries with, Konsa's been out for a little bit. Disasi was eligible for this game. But yeah, I'm hoping Pau Torres is going to be back soon. But with Mings, even when he does come back into contention, I think we need to use him sparingly. Otherwise, he's going to be like a James Chester. James Chester basically gave up his career for Aston Villa, playing through the pain barrier every single week, which basically cut short his kind of career sort of towards the end, I suppose. And Tyrone Mings could be going the same way, where, if he carries on playing so many games, he's going to cause himself too many injuries that he won't be able to come back from. So, that's something that we need to address in the summer. Can I also give an applause to Lamar Bogarde when he came on. I mean, I was worried when Mings went down and had to come off. He tried to stay on the pitch, didn't he? But then he needs to come off. Bogarde coming in at centre back against Chelsea, I wasn't confident. I thought, okay, how's that gonna work with Konsa? But he did well. He did well. He's a sort of no frills defender, wins challenges. You know, there's one where early on where he sort of slide tackles. I think it was it Neto or Nkunku on the right or whoever it was, and that got the crowd up. And he did well there. And I thought his passing was good as well, even out from the back. Sometimes trying to play it, you know, cut through the lines and play it through to Rodgers or to the number 10s. He did it a couple of times, which was quite good. So I was quite impressed with Lamar Bogarde. Having said that, I wouldn't want him playing sort of week in, week out. But as a stopgap, as a filler for like the last 20 minutes of a game, yeah. And against Cardiff, yeah, he should be starting. He deserves to. His main position is obviously defensive midfield. He's not a centre back, really, but he's doing a job for us, and he's done a really good job for us. So yeah, I thought Bogarde did well when he came on. Matson for me is very sort of hit and miss, and miss a lot of the times basically. Not sure what's going to go on with this guy in the summer. Whether we look to bring in someone else, maybe he wants to move on for more game time, perhaps. But at the moment, Luca Digne is a better defender. He's better at going forward, which is surprising to say because Matson was supposed to be that attacking fullback. But Digne has got better quality with his crosses, better quality with his runs. And yeah, Matson doesn't beat him in any sort of areas, really, defensively or attacking. So yeah, a bit of a surprising one there. Matty Cash, for me, has his limitations. Obviously, he set up the first goal, and we'll talk about that. We're cutting back in on his left foot like he did against Arsenal and put one up to the back stick for Watkins against Arsenal, and this time for Rashford. Obviously, you know, the VAR gets involved, and well, not the VAR, the linesman gets involved and says it's an offside. Rashford's convinced it's not. It obviously goes back to sort of video replay, and you can see that Enzo Fernandez is a couple of yards back or behind his defenders, sort of keeping Rashford onside. And then Rashford managed to sort of poke the ball across to Asensio, who taps in from a yard out, just about in the end as well. But yeah, Matty Cash cutting in on his left, did well with that delivery, but very little else in the game. I thought when he came on against Liverpool, he looked really, really bright. He was getting forward, overlapping at every single occasion. This time it went back to Matty Cash of old, where he's just hesitant and safe pass back. And then Garcia just comes on a little bit and gives you that little bit more, you know, you just think like he's more willing to get forward. So Cash did all right. But Garcia is probably going to start against, maybe not against Palace, but definitely against Cardiff. But yeah, so that was the first goal. Sort of Rashford teeing up Asensio, obviously went to VAR, and we get it back to 1-1. And then from there, you know, the Villa Park crowd is absolutely on fire, basically. We started playing some good football. I think Marlon coming on as well was a good shout. So Watkins and Rodgers coming off after 75 minutes, and Marlon, I think, was it Bailey at that point came on. But yeah, I thought that really sort of changed things as well. Having Marlon sort of running in behind, Rashford put him in straight away, gets a chance, and it's saved by the goalkeeper and out for the corner. But Rashford just, really affecting the game. Now, I know that Asensio got the 2 goals, and he got the man of the match kind of award from the Sky pundits and commentary team, and I think he covered the most distance on the pitch as well out of all the players, which is obviously tremendous and probably did deserve man of the match. But I thought Marcus Rashford was the game changer for us. I didn't think Asensio was having a great game up until then, doing well, but Rashford just gives you that excitement, doesn't he? Just gives you that excitement. He just gets on the ball, and there's that air and anticipation. What's he going to do with it? So yeah, for me, I would go with Rashford, just edging it over Asensio on the man of the match for me personally. But yeah, so it was a good one, and then the winning goal at the end. I've been critical of Austin McPhee. I don't think we look threatening enough from set pieces. Having said that, I recently saw a stat that we've got 13 goals from set pieces, but there's this set piece thing basically after the ball's been cleared out from, let's say, a corner, it's still considered in the same phase of play. So it still comes under the set piece umbrella, which is a bit of a weird one. Like the Tielemans goal against Liverpool. That was from a set piece, Rashford crossing it in. And then I think Kanate heads it up. McGinn gets to it, heads it back across. Mings and wins a little flick on, and then Tielemans scores. For me, that's not a set piece routine. That's open play. But because it's from the same phase of play, it goes down as a set piece goal. So the stats are a little bit skewed, I think. And maybe Austin McPhee is getting more praise than he should. I don't know out of the 13 how many of them were directly from set pieces and how many of them were in this phase of play kind of moment. But for me, I mean, even the Rashford, the winning goal. So Rashford corner, short to Tielemans back into Rashford into Asensio. Yes, you can put that down as a set piece goal. And well done to Austin McPhee for that, because that looked like it was rehearsed. It was meant. Players pulled into certain positions. We had 3 players on the edge of the box, which basically confused Chelsea about who to go out and press, which then creates the space for Asensio. Didn't hit it cleanly, but he got just enough on it. And I don't know what the Chelsea's keeper's doing there. He seems to have dived over it or something, or is it squirmed underneath his body? I don't know if it took any deflection, but don't care. At that moment, the knee slide came out on the carpet and absolutely buzzing at that point. And this man grabbing 2 goals for us, and Rashford getting 2 assists as well. But yeah, absolute, game changers. And now having the attacking options that we have up front, we're all of a sudden a very dangerous team. We've got Palace coming up now, which I'll come on to and talk about Crystal Palace a little bit. But Palace coming up next now is going to be an interesting game. Palace are a decent team. They're in decent form. I was looking at it earlier. There's 4 wins in the last 6 Premier League games. Not bad. They've got a certain Jean-Philippe Mateta in really good form. 11 goals this season. He's just 1 behind Ollie Watkins. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 games, I think. I think the goal disallowed as well against Fulham at the weekend. But he is going to be a handful, an absolute handful. So I'm really glad. I'm going to see Mings looks like he's going to miss this game. But we've got Disasi to come back in with Konsa, because I think Disasi likes that physical battle. I think he'll relish having to mark Mateta, and then we can have Konsa as that kind of sweeping up kind of player. And I think that would suit Konsa down to the ground as well, to be that ball playing sort of centre back and allowing Disasi to have the battle with Mateta. But Palace sit in 13th position, 33 points, 26 games played, 8 wins, 9 draws, 9 defeats. So, there's a lot of draws in there. There's quite a few defeats in there as well. I think that's from earlier on in the season. Goal difference of -1. So I think we're -2 now, I think it is. So -1 they have. But here's a surprising stat for you. They've got the 4th best defence in the Premier League, which was amazing. I didn't really think they would anywhere close. But, they don't score a lot of goals, but they don't concede a lot of goals either, by the looks of things. So, I mean, if we look at it there, the top 4, I mean, the first one is Arsenal, 23 goals conceded. Then you've got Liverpool, 26. Then you've got Bournemouth, 30. And then you've got Crystal Palace, 32 goals conceded. So 4th best defence in the Premier League. Last 5 games, we quickly look at that. 2-0 win against Fulham. Joachim Andersen own goal. And then Daniel Moniz, who is going to be a danger. They're flying sort of left. Is he left back or right back? He's right back. He's a right wing back, basically, but he loves to get forward. And he got forward really well in that Carabao Cup game that we lost to them for. So we need to get some revenge for that as well, actually. And then they lost 2-1 to Everton. Mateta getting on the score sheet. They won 2-0 in the Cup against Doncaster. Moniz again. And Devaney, I think Devaney scored against us, didn't he? In the Carabao Cup. I remember that goal now. So he's someone to look out for. Then a 2-0 win against Man United. Jean-Philippe Mateta with 2 there as well. And then a 2-1 loss to Brentford, where Ramon Eze got a goal. Not Ebriche Eze, but Ramon Eze, they're signing from Millwall. He got his first goal. So you can see that Palace are going to be a handful, definitely. Mateta up front, Eze in behind, pulling the strings. You know, Will Hughes seems to be playing for the last 30 years. He's still going to be there. I'm not sure what's going on with Adam Morton. If he's available or injured or not, I'm not sure. But Moniz is a good player to have on the sort of right wing back. And then they've got Tyreek Mitchell on the left as well. That's quite dangerous too. So they're going to be no pushovers. And they're at home. So we need to make sure that we are solid. Do not concede the first goal again from the first shot on target. Absolutely not. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. I think we're going to have some weary legs in there as well. We're asking for a lot of players to go again and go again. I think on Friday there will be heavy rotation. And I think this Tuesday game, we're probably going to ask probably the same lot to go again. I can see Digne coming back in. I can see Disasi coming back in with Constance at the back. Right back, I probably would go with Matty Cash just for the more experience, being more solid, knowing the Premier League a bit better, knowing Crystal Palace a bit better, and then look to bring on Garcia maybe sort of in the second half. So that would be my kind of defence there. Midfield, I mean, we don't know anything about what's going on with Barkley, Onana, but I would hope to see one of them on the bench and maybe get some minutes, sort of last 15 minutes of this game, and then obviously look to start on Friday. But it looks like Tielemans and McGinn will be starting as CDM again. And then ahead of that, this is a big one. You know, obviously Rashford coming on and affecting the game. Bailey coming on affecting the game. Asensio obviously getting 2 goals. Rodgers is there as well, but looks tired. Does he need to rest? Is it for this game or should we rest him for Friday? So I think I'd like to see Rashford start from the left. Asensio scored 2 goals, going to be buzzing. He should be starting as well. And then I'll probably go with Rodgers kind of from the right. So Rashford instead of Ramsey, Asensio and Rodgers. See how that goes. And then bring on like Marlon and Bailey as well. And then up front, I think Watkins came off at the 75th minute. So he should have a bit of a rest and should have more in his legs. And he normally does well against Palace. So I would go with Ollie Watkins up front to begin with as well. But have Marlon as a backup on the bench, and Marlon definitely to start on Friday because he's not eligible to play in the Champions League, is he? So him and Garcia are definitely in line to play on Friday. But I'll do a match preview for that Wednesday onwards. But let's see. But yeah, my score prediction for this, for some reason, even though we've just beaten Chelsea, I'm not feeling hugely confident. I think we're going to be tired. I think the best that we can get here is probably a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw for this one against Palace. I've got the score prediction right for the Chelsea game. I hope I'm not right for this game. I hope actually we do get 3 points and win. But I just, you know, it's so close. We played Saturday night and we're back up again on Tuesday. Surely this game should have been on a Wednesday. But I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But yeah, guys, let me know your score predictions. Let me know what your team lineup should be for this game. Obviously, bear in mind sort of Friday's cup game as well, and there'll be a lot of rotation for that, I would imagine. And, you know, people like Anwar El Ghazi coming back and Callum Robinson and Callum Chambers as well, ex-Villa players. They'll all be back at Villa Park for that game, I'm sure, and up for it and wanting to put a shock in. You know, I think, you know, we will rest some players for it. But I just hope we don't go too weak because I think it's a really good opportunity to go far in this. We win the game there, we're in the quarterfinals. And then who knows? You know, we've got some favourable draws going on, so there are some big teams that are going to get knocked out in this round in the FA Cup. But anyway, I'll talk more about the FA Cup in the next few days. Let's concentrate on Palace. Let's get this game out of the way. I just hope Mateta doesn't score, but I'm going to go Crystal Palace 1, Mateta to score for them, and then I'm going to go Villa to score. If I keep backing Rashford, is he going to score? Shall I change it up? I'll change it up to Daniel Marlon. Off the bench, Daniel Marlon to get a late equaliser for Aston Villa. So 1-1 for me. Let me know your score predictions. Subscribe to the channel if you made it this far in the video. Apologies for the voice and the coughing. I think I'm coming down with something. But yeah, anyway, guys, until the next video, do like, do subscribe, and up the mighty Villa. Come on, boys. 3 points tomorrow.